Let's dive into the discussions shaping the nation.
Peadar Tóibín.
Good morning, the Count Corlia. Honestly, you say that there shouldn't be a consequence-free zone. This government is a consequence-free zone. This government is an accountability-free zone when it comes to waste. You speak about the Arts Council IT waste as some kind of shock, as if you're a passenger on the ship of state. You are at the helm of the ship of state in relation to these particular issues. I could spend the full day here giving you the litany of week after week government waste projects that have happened over the last 4 or 5 years. And there's a deep frustration amongst taxpayers at the moment at the level of government waste that's happening currently. The Arts Council incinerated €7 million of state funding, and we have nothing to show for it. And at the moment, what we have is a government, which is the same government that was in place just a few weeks ago, shrugging their shoulders and saying they don't know what happened. That's an incredible answer from any government to give. I honestly believe that there's a culture of waste that's coming from the top here, to be honest. One of the pinnacle issues of the general election, Taoiseach, was you stating that you did not sign the contract for the National Children's Hospital. This culture of evasion, of dodging, of delaying, of obfuscation is coming from the top and is seeping into every level of senior civil service at the moment as well. And, when you look at the amount of people who were involved in this, so, we had a senior minister. Where was the oversight? We had junior ministers. Where was the oversight? We have secretary generals. Where was the oversight? We had directors and chairs of the Arts Council. Where was the oversight? We had an audit committee in the Arts Council. Where was the oversight? We have loads of people getting massive wages in this country to oversee the spending of state and citizens' money, and nobody's doing their job. Nobody is doing their job. Week after week, people are cursed to wake up to the next instalment of government waste. People have had enough, Taoiseach, of this. People make jokes about the bicycle shed and they make jokes about the wall around the WRC. It's not a joke, it's disgusting what's happening to taxpayers' money at the moment, and we cannot tolerate it any further. We in Aontú have stated that there should be written into the contracts of senior civil servants that they have a responsibility to mind the taxpayers' money. We've stated that there should be a junior minister in the Department of the Taoiseach who reports on live contracts to make sure that they are not going over budget and not going over time in terms of those deliveries, and that the person should report to the Taoiseach on a weekly basis so we have full oversight on what's happening. Of course, that has not been done at all. And we've stated very clearly that there has to be a cost to the senior civil servants in terms of this waste, and that cost should be, and up to including the loss of a person's job. For if there's no cost to this, there will be no change, and we will be talking about this forever.
Thank you, Deputy Taoiseach, to respond.
So certainly there's nobody on this side of the House that in any way laughs about any such matters, because you're entirely correct. They are extraordinarily serious matters, and men and women get up every morning in this country, go to work hard, do a hard day's work, pay their taxes, and they want to see those taxes spent well to deliver for them, for their families and for their communities. But it is also fair to say, Deputy, that when government can only be accountable for what government is told, and if there are officials in state agencies or others who are pursuing a project that doesn't adhere to the public spending code, that is not a small matter, and that cannot be and will not be a consequence-free zone. Let's be very clear. It's a very, very significant consequence for politicians. We have a thing called elections, and we put our name on a ballot paper, and people in our community go out and they choose to vote for us or they choose not to vote for us, and everyone in here, including you, receives a mandate. I think people are getting a little bit sick and tired, to put it mildly, of public money not being spent adequately, and in this case having nothing to show for it. You're right on that, and finding that there are individuals who are often somewhat anonymous in relation to those issues. Now, be very clear, I'm very clear on this too. People can make mistakes. We don't want a culture where people are risk adverse. People can make mistakes. That's different. That's absolutely different. But when a mistake is made, you got to engage. This was not that. This, in my view, was a very clear and flagrant breach of the public spending code. Now, I do want to balance my comments by saying this. Here in Ireland, we do deliver an awful lot of projects very well, and our public servants deliver a lot of projects well, on budget, on time, even ahead of time and ahead of budget on occasion. And I can also list, as you say, you can list many projects. I can also list many projects that were delivered on budget and on time, whether it's the Moycullen bypass, the Dunkettle interchange, the Listow bypass, just some in recent times, new school extensions, new primary care centres, major hospital extensions like the Masher, St Luke's Hospital in Kilkenny, the National Broadband plan, which is really the modern equivalent of rural electrification, is on budget and is actually ahead of schedule currently as well. So you're quite right too, and today we should be talking about this issue in the Arts Council, I don't dispute that. But we do also deliver very many projects across the public service on time and on budget. I want to say that to be balanced in my comments. But what's happened here in the Arts Council is a cause of serious concern. And what concerns me as Taoiseach and as a coalition leader is it confined just to this project, and how can we have confidence in the overall governance structure and systems within the Arts Council, and that link that Deputy Batchik rightly made in terms of the departmental oversight of agencies. And I think what we should do here, and I think the responsible thing to do here, is exactly what Minister O'Donovan has proposed to Cabinet, is establish in the coming week an external review to get to the bottom of these matters and to report, and of course for the PAC and others to have an opportunity to examine this too.
Thank you, Deputy.
So there is a policy, I think, of sometimes hear no evil and see no evil by senior ministers. Oh, we didn't know what was happening, and you mentioned that before. It is the responsibility of the minister to know what's happening in their department. You cannot insulate yourself from crises such as this by pleading ignorance over and over again. That is not an excuse in relation to waste. It's not an excuse. Also, we don't even have the opportunity to bring in the former Minister, Catherine Martin, into the Oireachtas, to bring her to a committee, because 11 weeks after the election, there are no committees. And there's not likely to be any committees for a number of weeks yet, I understand, which again shows you the dysfunction and the glacial pace of accountability within this system. This is not a victimless crime, Taoiseach. You know, when you burn through so much money, there's a cost to that. It would have paid for 25 homes, put 75 people into those homes. It would have paid for 600 scoliosis operations. It would have paid for 6 CAMS teams around the country. Not only are you burning up taxpayers' money, but you're taking away that critically needed cash from the people who need it most in Irish society.
Our Taoiseach to respond, please.
So I accept your passion on this matter, but I want you to know, just because perhaps I speak in maybe a calmer tone than you on occasion, please don't misunderstand that for absolute fury on the government benches in relation to this situation. The people that we represent, the people who voted for us and the mandates we've received, are extraordinarily annoyed in relation to this matter, because you're right, almost €7 million worth of taxpayers' money that was given to the Arts Council has been wasted with nothing to show for it. And what I'm saying to you as the deputy head of this government with absolute clarity today is there are going to be consequences in relation to that. We're going to establish what happened, we're going to have an external review, and then government is going to decide how to act. That's what a responsible government does. And you know what a responsible government also does? Is garner the facts. Let's do that. Let's do that. We don't need we don't need the faux outrage. What we need actually here is the facts. Gather the facts, and government make a proper determination. We have the information. That's what I think some of your other colleagues in the opposition benches have rightly called for. We need to go through this in an external review way, and we will get to the bottom of this. But breaching the public sector spending code, public spending code, is not consequential.
Thank you, Taoiseach.
Like, share, and subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.